Hello everyone, this is Dylan here, and this is another film review of Dylan Talks Movies. Welcome back everyone. Okay, so starting off with my top 200 movies. By now I've done 5 films, so we're just gonna keep on rolling down the river. All right, okay, so the interesting film I want to talk about today is the 1964 Stanley Kubrick film, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Let's get into it. All right, so Dr. Strangelove is a, how do I describe it? It's a comedy film. It's a satire film. Yes, it's a satire film, comedy. It stars Peter Sellers in 3 roles as Mandrake, the President, and of course Dr. Strangelove. Also stars George S. Scott, Slim Pickens, Sterling Hayden, and in his earlier film roles, James Earl Jones, for those who don't know. So Dr. Strangelove is a satire film based on a book. And basically, it was in the midst of World War II, like about the atomic bombs were being dropped. So, Sterling Hayden's character decides to goes nuts and kind of like calls off, or like he calls off like all the bombers to back down and stuff, or I guess he kind of like, just freaking, yeah, he kind of like, I'm trying to think of the words here. He basically like assigns like bombers to bomb, or like draws them back, and like, trying to remember. Anyway, the point is, all the bombers get called back and stand down except one, which have no idea because the communication is broken. And so the president, Peter Sellers, of course, who, forgot to mention, appeared in Kubrick's last film, Lolita. So, like, the president, are in a war room with all these, all the governments and these generals, and, like, with a Russian, consultant, I guess. And basically, so the point is, president calls the Russia and says, the bomb, there's something wrong with the bomb. We can't stop it. It's about to come, blow you up, basically. So, throughout this whole film, back and forth a bit with the bombers, just with their plane having problems, ready to drop the bomb. No pun intended. Then you got Colonel Mandrake, also by Peter Sellers, trying to talk with Sterling Hayden's character, who just gone off the rails. And then, of course, back in the war room with the president and the general, it's just a lot of slapstick comedy. And then, of course, Dr. Strangelove, the title character himself, also played by Peter Sellers, jumps in. Dr. Strangelove is is a German scientist who is ex-Nazi, now working for the United States. And it's one of Peter Sellers' best performances. It's so funny. And he's in a wheelchair, and, they're trying to figure out, like, how powerful this bomb is. And it's just a lot of comedy and just silliness, and the satire of World War II and stuff. And the film, it's pretty funny. It's so hilarious. Like, if you guys have not seen it, please watch it. It's so good. I actually watched it for the first time recently, because there's a lot of Kubrick films I have not seen in its entirety yet. And recently, Dr. Strangelove was one of them, and I had a blast with it. Excuse me. And yeah, it's so funny. And also the music, of course, like the ending, the iconic ending, where like a montage of every single nuclear bomb recorded, just a montage playing to Vera Lynn's "We'll Meet Again." It's just so iconic. And it's such a good song. And of course, I found out about that song in an episode of Gravity Falls, ironically. Yeah. What else about Strangelove? Yeah, George S. Scott, so funny. Like all these comedic moments. Like there's an unscripted part in the movie where George S. Scott is just like pointing at the boards of the map, and he trips and just rolls over and stands up while still delivering his lines. Is freaking hilarious. Like I can see it playing in my head. It's just so funny. Yeah, and it's such a good film. So and I have other Kubrick films that I'll be discussing soon, and I'll talk about the same thing that I'm about to talk about. Is that a couple of years ago, when I went to visit my sister in LA, I went to the Stanley Kubrick exhibition at the LACMA. I think it's like Los Angeles. It was a museum, basically. Like it's the museum with all the street lights in the front. Like if you guys are from LA, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, so they had a Stanley Kubrick exhibition, and all the props, all the costumes, everything that was used in all of Kubrick's films. And of course they had Dr. Strangelove stuff. They had like the model, the bomber planes and the bombs. And what's really cool, I remembered, is that they had a model of the war room from the film, and it was in the same coloring, the lighting with the big circle, and I thought it was one of the cool things I remember from it. And Doctor Strange has been parodied a lot, of course, like the signature where Major Kong, Slim Pickets, if you don't know who Slim Pickets is, he was in Blazing Saddles, Mel Brooks, which I will talk about in a coming up reviews. Another great film. Like when he's riding on the bomb, like that iconic shot. For those who don't know, that's where that came from in this film, and that's been parodied a lot. I believe there's an episode of The Simpsons when they parodied the war room scene, like with the saying in the circular table. Yeah, and it's so funny, and Peter Sellers again. He's like one of the great comedic actors. He's great in this. He's also great in the Pink Panther. It's amazing. He played 3 different roles in this film, and it's pretty crazy. Like it's like one of the first. Mainstream like movies where like the lead actors play more than one roles, like taking inspiration towards like Eddie Murphy and Mike Myers. Like there'll be actors who play multiple roles in their films, and like Peter Sellers kind of set the stage for that. So yeah, Doctor Strangelove, great film, so hilarious. Like it's a 9 out of 10. It's just so funny. One of Kubrick's like best films. It's just like, and it was after Lolita, and Lolita was like one of his first films that really that was really controversial, because like his future films will later be controversial. But like, so like it just needed to step back and just breathe in all the comedy and the satire and the silliness of it. And it's just so funny. That's pretty much it about Dr. Strangelove. Hope you guys like this review. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and my Letterboxd account. Every time I do a review, I'll post something about it on Instagram, and I'll also do a review on it on Letterboxd. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for coming. Over and out.